Imagine diving into pitch-black ocean depths, far below where sunlight reaches, where pressure crushes, temperature drops to near freezing, and everything feels alien except life. Life in forms no one expected. Strange corals glowing in shades of blue, metallic rocks making oxygen in darkness. A whole hidden world revealing secrets about life, evolution, and what might be happening on Earth when we think nothing survives. In recent years, scientists have discovered corals deeper than anyone believed possible, and uncovered a phenomenon called dark oxygen, produced by mineral nodules oxygen generation in places where photosynthesis is impossible. These twin discoveries are changing what we know about life's resilience, about ecosystems in the abyss, and even about how life might have begun on our planet. Let's begin with coral. Most people know coral reefs in shallow water, bright reefs in tropical seas, sunlight filtering through, colors everywhere. But corals also live in dark zones, deep, cold, remote, and in 2022, an international team exploring the Great Barrier Reef and Coral Sea used a remotely operated submarine to dive to about 2,500 feet, 760 meters, beneath the surface. Over 31 dives, they collected 60 specimens of black coral. Among them were 5 previously unknown species, including one that was found growing on a nautilus shell, a symbol itself of deep-sea mystery. These black corals don't rely on sunlight or algae. They survive by filter-feeding, catching what drifts down from above, surviving in currents and cold, filtered light or no light at all. Discoveries like these show that coral's domain stretches far beyond what we imagined. But even deeper, another remarkable revelation. Off the coast of Chile at the Salas y Gomez Ridge, scientists observed what's now considered the deepest photosynthesis in coral ever recorded, a species of Leptoser, a wrinkle coral. This coral was spotted at approximately 197 meters deep, about 15 meters deeper than the previous record. Even there, with light levels tiny and fading, Leptoser still uses sunlight via symbiotic algae, zooxanthellae, to live a photosynthesis-based life deep in the twilight. More than 160 species were cataloged during that expedition. Around 50 may be new to science. So what about dark oxygen? In the abyss, sunlight is gone. Most known oxygen production in oceans depends on photosynthesis plants, algae, sunlight. But in zones so deep, so remote, lightless oxygen was assumed to be only delivered via currents, diffusion from above, or via biological decay. That notion was shattered in discoveries from the Clarion-Clipperton Zone, CCZ, in the Pacific. There, scientists found that polymetallic nodules, rocky metallic deposits rich in manganese, nickel, cobalt, and other metals appeared to produce oxygen in the dark. They observed oxygen evolution in darkness by these nodules, generating what is being called dark oxygen, a regime where non-biological materials are producing oxygen under ocean pressure without sunlight. This discovery could force reconsideration of how life originates on Earth, how ecosystems in abyssal plains sustain themselves. Now imagine combining these threads. Corals adapted to almost no light. Photosynthesis in corals pushing the limits of sunlight depth. Nodules making oxygen in the dark. The ocean is not a silent void. It's a theater of adaptation, of life finding ways to persist, thrive, and surprise. There is more. In deep seas off Australia, research has shown black corals living thousands of feet down. Some of these corals are extremely long-lived, growing slowly. Some species collected appear to live for centuries or more. These corals form habitat physical structures in deep water for fish, invertebrates, and microlife. The structure is fragile, susceptible to damage from human impact, deep-sea mining, trawling, temperature changes, acidification. These are places that were once thought barren. Now we see biological richness. So let's retrace. Coral near the edge of light, new species of black coral deep in dark, photosynthesis in coral at record depths, metallic mineral nodules making oxygen in the abyss. What questions does this raise? First, how does life sustain itself in depths with near-zero visible light? Corals like Leptoser rely on trace light plus symbiotic algae. Black corals don't use photosynthesis at all and rely purely on feeding on microscopic particles. Their metabolism is tuned to scarcity. Second, what is the biological role of reactive oxygen species, giraffes, in these darkness zones? There's evidence that deep-sea corals produce superoxide, a reactive molecule. Usually, aerosols are associated with stress or damage, but in these environments, they may be part of fundamental life processes, nutrient cycles, chemical defense, food capture. Scientists measured superoxide near deep-sea corals using a sensor on a submersible over 2,000 meters deep in Monterey Bay, for example. This suggests corals in darkness aren't passive. They are active, chemical players in the abyssal ecosystem. Third, what role do these photosynthesis in corals at record depth and dark oxygen-producing nodules play in global oxygen cycles? While surface photosynthesis remains dominant for oxygen generation, globally localized oxygen production in darkness could slightly change. Microenvironmental conditions for animals in the abyss alter. Biogeochemical cycles possibly buffer hypoxic zones or support organisms previously thought unsustainable in those zones. Fourth, conservation. These deep ecosystems are fragile. Many new species discovered are rare, possibly endemic. Threats include deep-sea mining, especially in zones like the CCZ, ocean warming, acidification, and physical damage. If dark oxygen or these corals are damaged, we may lose unknown species before we even fully know them. If you were fascinated diving into these abyssal discoveries, hit like, subscribe, and ring the bell so you never miss when the ocean reveals another of its mysteries.